directors, 27 have joined the APC from the PDP, Labour Party, African Democratic Congress ADC, and the NNPP. In a separate resolution, the House has directed the Federal Ministry of Health, the NCDC and MPHCDA to enforce mandatory diphtheria immunization testing and treatment in all 774 local government areas. Honorable Beatrice Laure moved a motion, raised the alarm over the continued spread of diphtheria in Nigeria due to low vaccination coverage. The House also tasked the Ministry of Information and National Orientation with ramping up public awareness campaigns to curb transmission.
Alarmed that from May 2022 to February 2025, Nigeria has reported 41,978 suspected cases of diphtheria from Bauchi, Borno, Jigawa, Kaduna, Katsina, with Kano and Yobe states accounting for the highest number, 24,062 and 5,330 respectively. Most cases were within the ages of 1 to 14, and only 19.7% were fully vaccinated, resulting in 1,279 deaths within this period.
And the Lagos State government is once again cautioned against the collection of tenancy agreement fee beyond the stipulated 10% and has asked residents to report such abnormality to the authorities. At the 2025 ministerial press briefing held in Alausa, Ikeja, the special advisor to the governor of Lagos State on housing, Barakat Odunuga Bakari, warned against violation of the state's tenancy law, which caps tenancy agreement fee at 10%. She reiterated the restated Lagos State government stance against the imposition of excessive tenancy agreement fees, reminding all stakeholders within the state that the stipulated maximum remains 10% of the annual rent.
The tenancy laws that we're trying to review, which we did a few weeks ago at the State House of Assembly, which I'm sure that we're partners in progress, and because of the fact that we had a protest about 2 weeks ago about the same regard, agents are not supposed to charge more than 10% in total. They are not supposed to charge more than 10%. The law states 10% specifically, between 0 to 10%, depends on the amount of the rent. And also there's legal fees as well, which should not be more than 10%. So the agent has their duties and the lawyers have their own duties as well, which are well spelled out. As lawyers, we know our limitations. And myself and the Honorable Commissioner and the PS, we've had meetings with the NBA, with Redan, with Naive, with Erican, and also with everybody in the build sector that are organizations regulating the authority and also the profession and registering anybody that practices real estate. And we made them, we understood each other that lawyers have a duty and also agents have a duty as well too. The present tenancy laws, I would love to disagree, but it doesn't state specifically how much service charges and the rest of them can be. So it's ambiguous. So people interpret it the way they want to, but it states specifically that the amount an agent can charge is not more than 10%. So if you find any agent that is charging more than 10%, please do communicate with us at the Lagos State Real Estate Regulatory Authority, Block 21, first floor in Alausa.
It's time for a short break, but still to come on news now. Putin's no-show in Turkey throws Ukraine's peace talks into disarray. Stay with us for more details. Welcome back. Now let's take you through some of our major stories. The House of Representatives is resolved to investigate the technical error that compromised the result of the 2025 Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination. The Green Chambers passed a resolution during plenary on Thursday following the adoption of a motion of urgent public importance sponsored by Adewale Adebayo, a lawmaker from Osun State. We also told you that Nigeria's headline inflation rate is slightly to 23.71% in April 2025, down from 24.23% recorded in March, according to the latest data by MBS on Thursday. Now, this marks a 0.52 percentage point decline and reflects a modest reprieve in the country's inflation trajectory. Now, in case you missed any of our news bulletin or for more updates, you can catch us on Limesworld TV and AVO TV or log on to our website on www.TV360nigeria.com. You can also follow us on our social media platforms on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube at TV360 Nigeria, or download our mobile app on Google Play Store, Huawei App Gallery, and Apple Store. On Facebook, we're at TV360 Online.
In the last 3 years, we have built a multi-purpose center, which is the envy of all in our constituency. And I can tell you that the people who are living there are already enjoying it.
Guy, do you think what this man just said is true? See, I seriously doubt. I'm sure it's one of those their silly lies.
And wait, do you know there's a way to find out if these things he's saying is true or not? This is the Construct app. It gives people like us a sure way to track implementation of constituency projects. It gives valid and verified information on location of projects, amounts allocated, amount funded, the level of job done, and even the profiles of concerned legislators. You and I can post directly on this app.
Are you serious?
This is the go-to app if you want to know how our Commonwealth is being expanded by the government.
Wow. Let's even see if what this man said is true. Show me.
The Construct app is developed by Other Paper Nigeria with support from USAID and is available on both Google Play Store and Apple Store.
And it's true.
Of course, I told you.
It's now time for business news, and Okwayemi Owosheni is on standby. What's the latest, Okwayemi?
Well, Tamilo, already House of Representatives has urged the Federal Ministry of Finance and the Nigerian Customs Service to provide a detailed explanation of the methodology and criteria used in determining the 2% import surcharge remittance. They further called for the publication of a transparent framework for calculating and implementing the surcharge in line with the provisions of the Raw Materials Research and Development Council Act of 2022. Additionally, the House directed the Federal Ministry of Finance to ensure the accurate calculation and immediate remittance of all outstanding arrears of the 2% import surcharge to the RMRDC.
Concerned that there are persistent irregularities and a lack of clarity in the calculation of the remittance of the 2% import surcharge to RMRDC. Further concerned that presently, the Raw Materials Research and Development Council is being paid a negligible amount of about 0.05%, of which sources cannot be defined, and lack of transparency and accountability in the remittance process contravenes the intent and provision of Section 121B of the RMRDC Act 2022. Worried that these irregularities or discrepancies, the lack of clarity created in the disbursement of the fund, arbitrarily void the provision or the law and have greatly hampered the development of the nation and continued to serve as a clog in the wheel of progress. The House resolved to urge the Federal Ministry of Finance and the Nigerian Customs Service to provide a detailed explanation of the methodology and criteria used in determining the 2% import surcharge remittance and publish a transparent framework for calculating and implementing the 2% surcharge in compliance with the RMRDC's Act 2022. To call on the Federal Ministry of Finance to ensure accurate calculation and immediate remittance of all areas of the 2 persons so charged to the RMRDC.
We'll take a short break now and be back with updates from the stock market. Welcome back. Now, the Nigerian stock market on Thursday furthered its positive movement this week, pushing the all-share index and equities market capitalization higher by 0.37% and 109,467 naira.64 points respectively. Now, we see stocks like Better Glass Company and MPF Microfinance Bank helping to move the market higher. Now, Nestle Nigeria led the gainers with a 10% share price appreciation, moving from 1,210 naira to 1,331 naira per share. So it's followed closely by Honeywell Flour Mill. Now, in 14,743 deals, investors exchanged 722 million shares worth 13 billion naira. Now, on the global front, the trading is mixed as the UK FTSE and US Dow Jones maintained a bullish trade, as you can see from the screen behind me. It's a different case, however, for Japan's Nikkei as oil prices slid and broader Asian stocks fell after enthusiasm from easing trade tensions began to fade, and investors waited for further cues in the foreign exchange market. Now we see that the naira continued to slide on the parallel market, trading at 1,620 naira to the US dollar, 2,060 naira to the British pound, and 1,730 naira to the euro, unchanged from the previous day's rate. And that's it on both business and stock market updates. Back to you, Tamilore, for the rest of the news.
Thank you for that update, Okwayemi. Well, on the foreign scene, Russian President Vladimir Putin has sent a lower-level delegation to attend peace talks with Ukraine and Turkey, ignoring Kyiv's direct challenge for a face-to-face meeting between Putin and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. Putin's decision not to attend discussed uncertainty over the much-anticipated negotiation, which would mark the first formal peace talk since the early stages of the war. While Russia announced the discussion would take place in Istanbul later, Turkish officials stated that no meeting has been officially scheduled as of yet. Meanwhile, U.S. President Donald Trump, currently on a tour of the Gulf, told newsmen that no progress could be expected in the peace process without a direct meeting between himself and Putin. And finally, on sport, Nottingham Forest striker Taiwo Awoniyi has regained consciousness after being placed in an induced coma following surgery for serious abdominal injury. The Nigerian international sustained a ruptured intestine during a recent match and underwent the first phase of surgery on Monday. On Tuesday, doctors placed him in a medically induced coma to closely monitor his condition. The second stage of the procedure, which involved closing the abdominal wound, was successfully completed on Wednesday. And that wraps up our bulletin on News Now. Many thanks for watching. I'm Tamilore Akinkulie. See you again next time.
That was a very good business. Yeah. The furniture you brought was very perfect.
But that's how we roll.
Let me do you receipts.
Yeah. How much of it again?
1 million naira.
Okay, write 2.5.
The deal was for 1 million naira now.
Okay, write 3 million. I'll give you 500.
Oh no, I just do business like that now. Yeah.
In that case, give me back my check. Let me go and look for someone that understand business.
Take.
Your loss.
It is.
في عدد كبير من المتهمين كانوا داخل السجون لفترات طويلة. عشان يحددوا لك الجلسة انت بتكون الليلة كاملة ما نمت. فنحن برضو بنجي نتكلم معاهم وبنطمنهم انه الحاجة اللي ربنا كاتبها لك ما بتفوتك، وانت قعدت زمن طويل ومنتظر اليوم ده. الليلة اليوم ده جا وانت خليك جاهز له، والزمن اللي بديك له القاضي ده زمن محدد، انت حاول تذكر فيه كل الأحداث واحكيها بنفس تفاصيلها عشان القاضي يقدر ياخد قرار في الحاجة دي ويقدر يساعدك.
We hope that the government will prepare an implementation mechanism to ensure that the recommendations of the Judicial Reform Committee are implemented in a graduated manner, subject of course to availability of funds and availability of personnel. But this will lead to a comprehensive development and extension of justice system in this country, which all political parties and all parts of society agree is the utmost necessity of this country.
Welcome to another episode on Startups. I'm Tamilore Akinkwolye. Now, every year, companies and institutions around the world grapple with the growing menace of forged certificates and falsified credentials. But one Nigerian startup is changing the game with an innovative solution, the Akọ̀wé app. Now, today we're diving into the story of a revolutionary app that is tackling the global challenge of document.
In the job market, we've built out technology that allows employers to be able to instantly verify the authenticity of academic records, as well as technology that allows educators to be able to issue digital certificates easily. My name is Ayodiji Agbola and I'm the founder of Akọ̀wé.
Initially, Akọ̀wé was funded with a simple mission: to approve and manage certificates for individuals. However, as demand for reliable verification grew, the app evolved into a cutting-edge platform used to confirm the authenticity of credentials and certificates.
The story starts from when we were trying to solve our own problem. We did have a contract in 2018 with Facebook where we were training lots of small business owners on how to use Facebook products for business. And after the training, we need to give certificates. We trained a total of about 70,000 people across 4 years. And you can imagine trying to give certificates to this large number of people. So I decided to build a simple solution that could easily issue these certificates out to these recipients. So we're looking for an English name for this application because I realized that we weren't the only ones who had the problem. There were other Facebook partners who had the same problem. And there were other educators out there who were running trainings and who wanted to issue certificates, and there was a need for a simple tool like what we had built. I was looking for an English name that would work. I just couldn't find any, especially as we wanted to buy a domain name that was appropriate. And we tried so many different English names, and after a lot of frustration not finding an appropriate name, I started to think, okay, maybe we should go indigenous with this. And the name Akọ̀wé popped into my head, and simply because of what it describes what the application does. At the time, the application would simply write your name on the certificate and then issue it out to you. So it was an application that writes, right? So that was why I named it Akọ̀wé. But it's turned out to be a great name because it's now even doing many other things around academic space, around graduates and the likes. And you know, typically a literate person is what you call an Akọ̀wé or a clerk, you know, in the Yoruba language. So that's the story behind that. So shortly after we launched the initial product, which was issuing of certificates, quite a number of our customers started asking, okay, thank you for this, but can you help us verify certificates? And that was obviously not why we built the application in the first place. Then we started looking into that problem, and then we realized that that was even a bigger problem because quite a number of either postgraduate schools or employers had a challenge trying to verify whether this person they're trying to hire, you know, actually has the grade that they say that they do. You know, because there's no system in place that is quick and fast that can help people, you know, actually get that information. Because what happens is, if you need to verify credentials, you either send someone to the school or you call the school, and that takes a bit of time before you get that answer.
Akọ̀wé has quickly gained recognition as a one-in-a-million solution to the global issue of document fraud by allowing companies and universities to verify and upload documents securely. The app has become a trusted tool for maintaining integrity in recruitment, academics, and more.
They just, you know, give themselves a little notch upwards to the next grade. So if you had a second class lower, you would say you have a second class upper. You know, most people don't go and say they have a first class. They just, you know, go to the next upper grade so that there is a higher chance that an employer could say, okay, you have a good grade, we can hire you. So that's what you find that is very rampant. Many times as well, because there are no systems to easily check, somebody who didn't graduate would have a CV that says they graduated from so-so school. You know, it's so hard to check. So even if you're book smart or whatever it is, you might get hired even if you didn't graduate from school. And then your performance might then start to show that, okay, you said you had this grade, how come your performance is this way? And that's how people have been discovered over the years, to see, okay, your performance doesn't meet what you say you have in your CV. So you have many of those types of different methods that people do often. So with what we have done, which we have aggregated a lot of academic records onto our platform, it means that you can check and you can get information instantly. So for providing that instant information to you, you pay. So to access the system, we allow you some free trials where you can sign up, create an account, go into the platform and check a few names for free. And after that free trial, then you have to pay to continue to access the information. So basically you pay to search, and then you pay to download a generated report. That generated report is what you can keep in your files as HR department.
While these features have brought much needed efficiency to credential verification, some skeptics have raised concerns about the safety of sensitive data on the server. But Ayodeji, the visionary founder of Akọ̀wé, assures users that the app servers are maintained and protected steadily to prevent hacking and data breaches.
Your academic records they're permanent records. Once your academic record has been issued by your school, it's a permanent record. It's not supposed to change, right? People change it because of, you know, nefarious reasons. So what we're building out a solution where people can list their academic records on our platform. And because it's supposed to be a permanent record, we use blockchain technology to secure that permanence. It's tamper-proof and all of that. But however, who is to say that what you are listing on the platform is actually authentic? That's why we have multiple ways for actually verifying what you are listing. Once we verify that what you are listing is the same thing that the university has issued, and there are multiple other ways that we can actually verify that information, we then make it tamper-proof on the blockchain. So in essence, what it means is that a person can have their academic dossier on the Akọ̀wé app and their entire education history going backwards or even going forwards, right? So with that, you know, anybody should be able to check this person, which school did they go to for primary school, which school did they go for secondary school, what did they come out for the university with, and things like that. That entire academic history is important information. Right now it's scattered everywhere, you know, and that's why Akọ̀wé is a very collaborative company. We're speaking with people who already work with secondary schools using software to say, hey, there's a lot of education history that you guys have access to. There are people willing to pay to see the education history. Let's collaborate and let's put it out together. So that helps to solve some of those problems.
The app's import doesn't end there. Recognizing a broader need, Akọ̀wé has expanded its services to include undergraduates, enabling their credentials to be confirmed when they apply for loans. This feature is helping young people access opportunities while also ensuring transparency and accountability.
Right now, we're developing 2 new other products that we found that market is asking for, right? Again, people have come to us. We need to verify undergraduates. And something as simple as that, nobody in Nigeria today can do that. If you are an undergraduate, you are in 100 level, no. You are in 100 level, you're a 200 level student. Maybe a bank wants to give you 50% off to be able to buy this laptop. They cannot verify that you are a 200 level undergraduate from this school. It's just, I mean, there's no way to do that because there's no system in place that anybody can trust that says that you are actually an undergraduate from this school. Because are you going to bring your ID card? Anybody can make an ID card, right? So we're building a collaborative solution with the universities as well to say, let's be able to verify without a doubt that this person is an undergraduate, is doing microbiology, and is from this school. Next year, we can say, yes, he's still doing microbiology,